Hey guys, welcome to Living It Up Raw. Welcome to a very windy, very rainy day, which is going to be all about this, the all new Bajaj Pulsar N160. I know it looks familiar because it looks exactly like its elder brother, the N250, which was launched recently. So in terms of styling, in terms of componentry, this is exactly the same. The only differentiating factor is of course the fact that this one gets an underbelly exhaust and the indicators are not LED like the N250. But other than that, it's pretty much an exact replica. But when you compare it with the NS160, there are a lot of upgrades to consider. For example, you first and foremost get a bigger 14-litre tank in place of the 12 litres which you find on the NS160. You have wider tires at the front and the back. You get a bigger 300mm disc at the front, which is one of the biggest in class. Now the seat height is lower at a 795mm, and also the ground clearance has been sacrificed a little, but it's still a plenty at 165mm. And this is the first motorcycle in this class to offer dual channel ABS. On the engine front, this engine is based on the engine on the N250, but as compared to the over square layout, they have gone for a longer stroke on this one because that has been the main emphasis for the N160. So they have sacrificed the top power, so now the power is down from 17.2 to 16 PS, but the torque is very similar, 14.6 Newton meters, 85% of which is available from just 3000 RPM. So that's the motorcycle. I love the way it looks, but it's time to see how all of these numbers transform to on the road. So let's see how she rides. So here we go. And as I'm already in the 4th gear. As I shift through the gears, the one thing I'm noticing straight away is the big strides that Bajaj have made in terms of the refinement. There are barely, I'm going to go down the gear. So now, oh wow, very close to its rev ceiling where it makes maximum power. Can I feel a tinge of vibrations, but even those are very subdued. And now in the 4th gear, I can barely feel them. I don't remember the last time I could say that about a Pulsar. But this is truly impressive. This is what they are focused on. Solid mid-range. So it pulls strongly no matter what gear you're in. And the 3rd gear, overtaking. Nicely done. Yeah, the engine is really responsive. Still pulling strongly. Same with the 4th gear. Really nice. And I also feel like this is one of the most engaging Pulsars I've ridden in a while. I think that also has a lot to do with the lack of vibrations and also the way it sounds. I really like the deep bassy exhaust note from this underbelly exhaust. Sounds really good for a 160cc motorcycle. So yes, undoubtedly up top it's not as strong as the NS160, but then I would take it any day for the refinement that this one brings to the table. The engine is really nice and tractable. Like you can essentially ride everywhere in the 3rd gear. There is very little juddering even when you're going over a speed breaker. You don't even have to go down the gear, just pull in the clutch and as soon as you let go, it picks up nice and starts going from around 4500 RPM, which is great. I like the feedback from the front end, and the handling is also very neutral. Yeah, it turns in very quickly. It's very quick on its feet, which is not what I was expecting considering that it has a longer wheelbase, even longer than the Pulsar N250. but if anything I think it's helping. Also like the stability which the new wider tires bring to the table. So you have a fatter contact patch, which obviously is helpful even in these treacherous conditions. You have a little more grip. And even with the brakes, oh nice, really nice. I love the feel, I love the feedback, I love the progression, and also the bite's really good. So this is where the wider front tire also helps, because you can put all the stopping power of the bigger disc to the ground. I think Bajaj have done a tremendous job, because even the gearbox is so nice and smooth to operate. Perhaps one of the best gearboxes I've experienced on a Pulsar. Reminds me of the Dominar. Very, very slick, and even the clutch is super light, which is going to be super handy when you're riding in the city. In terms of the ride quality, I think the high-speed damping is pretty good, but I think we'll need to wait for the review to fully understand and play around with the rear shock, because right now I feel it's a little on the stiffer side. The front is very well damped, it's not overly soft, and also provides really good ride quality. The rear is a little on the stiffer side, like there's a lot of kickback. The rebound seems to be a little on the higher side. As I said, I have not played around with the preload. Once we do it, we'll have a more definitive answer. So yeah, one of the main things that I was really looking forward to testing was how this new frame does, because in my books the perimeter frame on the NS200 was a game changer. It changed once and for all the way we looked at the Pulsar in terms of riding dynamics, in terms of handling, because the older generation Pulsars were known to be very soft, and the perimeter frame changed that. It was a lot more precise. You had really good feedback from the front, which meant that you could carry a lot more speed, and you can also have a lot of fun in corners on the Pulsars. So you know, this one I was a little disappointed that they had done away with the perimeter frame, but initial impressions in the wet are very promising. I mean, we'll know more when we get better conditions to really push the motorcycle and see if it can match up, or in fact better, the NS200 in terms of its cornering ability. But initial impressions of this chassis are very positive. And also in terms of ergonomics, again, we have got a very short time with the motorcycle, so we cannot really cover a lot of distance to talk about the comfort. But the ergonomics so far have been great. Very comfortable. The reach to the bar is nice and easy. I like the way I fit on this motorcycle despite being 6 feet, almost 6 feet tall. There is a decent amount of space to move around. The seat seems nice, wide and well padded. So that's another couple of boxes that the Pulsar checks in its favor. Be an automotive journalist, they said. It'll be fun, they said. But jokes apart, I don't remember finding myself in this situation very many times before when we were reviewing the Pulsars. I mean, don't get me wrong, the NS200 was one of my favorites, but it was a big leap ahead in terms of riding dynamics, in terms of the engine, but it also had its share of quirks. But this one, the N160, has been a very difficult motorcycle to fall so far. It looks like a very well thought out, well put together product. I mean, of course, it is on the heavier side. 154 kg is one of the heaviest in its class, which means it does eat into its performance. But then again, they have purposefully gone for increasing its versatility, increasing its tractability, because this is where most people would be using the N160, which would be in the city for commuting, and that's where the mid-range comes really handy. And yeah, this is one of the first motorcycles in its segments to get dual channel ABS, which is a big positive. It doesn't get Bluetooth connectivity, which is a shame, but it does come with also other basic features which I love, which is the backseat switches. And if you're getting the dual channel ABS for 1,27,000 rupees, that's something which is very competitively priced in my books, especially for a package which has been so well put together. This is by far one of the most impressive first ride impressions that I've had of a Bajaj Pulsar for as long as I can remember, and I cannot wait to ride it some more. So that's all from my side. Let us know what you think about this bike, what else you would have liked on it, while we wait to get it for a longer time and hopefully in better weather. Until then, ciao.